What's up, everybody? This is your boy TC Black, coming to you with another video. I definitely thought I was hitting record, but it looks like everything is recording now, so we're good to go. What I'm gonna be doing my review of the little things. I paused because I had a slight pause because that's how this movie, quite frankly, made. It was a slight pause. This movie is weird. It was starring Denzel Washington, Remy Malek, and Jared Leto. It was directed by John Lee Hancock. I think that's remember his name is. Anyway, this movie is 2 hours long. It was released on HBO Max along with being in theaters. So with all HBO, all the WB movies, you're gonna get them on HBO Max for a certain amount of time, and then they'll be in theaters concurrently. So here's the thing: I tried for 3 days to get through this movie. Not one, not two, three long days. And I'm gonna be honest, it took me 3 days because I kept falling asleep on the first two. So I watched this movie in three different parts. And the second time I fell asleep on it, I got to the end of I fell asleep in the middle of the beginning and about the middle of the movie, and then I woke up at the end of the movie. I think I was maybe about an hour into it, and I had another hour to go. But this it's complicated because I get what was trying to be done here. I get the whole purpose of this movie was to be a case study. So let me just set the table. You have this movie starts off with oh, by the way, this is going to be a spoiler review. Just because it's on HBO Max, so you can go see it anytime. If you don't want me to spoil it, this is my non-spoiler review. This movie's a waste of time. Don't watch it. If you do watch it, understand the fact that this movie's pacing is so slow that you could go to the groceries, you could go into the kitchen, make you lunch, come back downstairs, and nothing happened. You could have been gone for like 20 minutes. You don't really miss anything. And that's because that's just how slow this movie is. It's approximately 2 hours and 7 minutes, and it's 2 hours and 7 minutes of your life that you will never get back. Don't worry about seeing this movie. If you don't have HBO Max and you want to see this movie, just to get your boy or your girl's account, watch it because you might be a Denzel Washington fan. Just get it that way. You got to the 28th of this month. Watch it that way. Don't bother with trying to figure out of just trying to get HBO Max for this movie because it's a waste of time. So that's where my spoiler free review ends. So if you're still here, I'm assuming you don't mind being spoiled. So let me get into some details on why I did not like this movie. Did not like this movie because in the beginning they set you up for something that is never solved in this film. This movie has a major plot hole, and I would say this plot hole is so big that it don't really fit. It not only does it not fill it, but with this plot hole, it's like this movie was a giant waste of time because you got me interested in something that you never set out to figure out. So that let me just explain myself. Excuse me. So this is how this starts out. You have a situation where the movie starts off with a murder of this woman, right? So this woman is murdered, and she gets stalked first on the road, and then she gets killed. So what they want you to do is, so what it kind of sets up almost is like, okay, well, we starting off with this woman being killed. Okay, so with me not knowing anything about this movie, I know that it's a mystery thriller. Oh shoot, okay, it's these three characters. We're about to try to figure out who the killer is. It got Denzel Washington in it, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. I'm already looking for Jared Leto to be the killer. However, I'm expecting the twist that either Rami Malek or Denzel Washington is the actual killer. So I'm looking for clues, trying to figure it out, following the characters in the mystery. And Denzel Washington's character is also investigating a crime. Rami Malek is the detective at the LAPD that is investigating the serial killer. And this is where the first time that Denzel Washington character and Rami Malek's character interact with each other. My biggest problem is the fact that number one, that whole premise of the killer is never solved. You go into it, and even by the time you get to the end of the movie, it's not solved. And I get the fact that this is a character study, which means the movie is less about the plot. The movie's less about the plot and more about the characters within the plot and how the plot drives the characters. I get that. This ain't it. You promised me. It's almost like you promised me a you promised me a bacon cheeseburger, but the most important part of the bacon cheeseburger is what? What distinguishes a bacon cheeseburger from a regular cheeseburger or a hamburger? It has cheese and it has bacon on it. And essentially, what the little things gave me was a bacon. I ordered a bacon cheeseburger. You told me I was getting a bacon cheeseburger, but all I got was a hamburger. You essentially set me up for something, and then you let me down by just totally ignoring it altogether. Not only that, but you had Denzel Washington's character. His name was Deacon. Remy Malek's character, I forgot his name because I mean, at the end of the day, I I didn't care for his character because me personally, I mean, Remy Malek, in my opinion, he's a good actor. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the new James Bond film. But outside of that, I really don't check for Remy Malek like that. I heard he did good things in Rocket and not Rocket Man. Gosh, what is the name of that movie? Shoot. It was about I forgot what it is. It's the movie about, it's the biopic about whatever that movie's called. Um, they, it's not, isn't to me, that movie isn't, his character his character essentially kills Jared Leto's character at the end. Jared Leto's character is also a character that I'm just like, okay, whatever. Um, it's just a lot of these characters are forgettable. Like, I don't remember their names. I I remember Deacon's character because his character, you saw him a lot, but I really didn't care for the other two. But you saw essentially what serial killer, this imaginative serial killer, because we don't know who it is, what he's doing to these characters. Another thing I didn't like was the fact that a lot of things happen out of convenience. Case in point, um, how Deacon was following around Jared Leto's character, and it always seemed like every time he was following him around, that Jared Leto's character was always either one up on him or he knew he was being tailed, which is kind of weird, seeing that Deacon was an ex LAPD officer, ex LAPD detective, and he was in the movie basically built him to be a really good detective. So the fact that that even happened to him is strange. I I don't know. I had a lot of issues with this movie. Not only just that, but then you had this dude, Remy Malek's character, get in the car with the dude that he thought was the killer, which made no sense. Because at any moment, if you knew this dude is the killer, you're not gonna get in the car with him. It's just like that's police. I'm not a police officer, and I know that's police training academy 101. You not gonna get in the car with the dude you think is the killer, especially when he's offering a drive for you. Nah, nah, like it just didn't make sense. Then for him to make that dumb choice, but then make the choice of, hey, I'm going to kind of get this to keep this dude talking because I want Deacon to come out so he can tell us. Doesn't make sense because Jared Leto's character has been smart this entire time and has been doing smart stuff this entire time. It's like, how would he not know that Deacon was going to tell him? And then at the end, Rami Malek's character, and I get the fact that his character was built up as being this officer, this detective rather. He replaced Deacon number one, and number two, he's wound up super tight. So this dude is going to break at any moment, which would have made sense if he was the killer, because you could say like these breaking tendencies, him being wound up too tight, or these breaking tendencies is how he's lashing out and killing these women. But that's not the case. Then you get um then you get this dude, Deacon, where you find out this dude is randomly seeing the female victims that were dead, like they're staring at him and he's staring at them. It's very weird. It's very weird. Um, like I said, I really didn't care for this. And then also there was a dig in it about Detroit and dead bodies and the amount of murders that happened in the city of Detroit. I hated that because that just gives that continues to perpetuate the stereotype about Detroit that it's the murder capital USA. You murder capital USA when there are come that is a complete falsehood. It was at one point. But those stats are not even true because I don't want to necessarily get into the depths of that. But it's not just the city of Detroit that they count, but they count surrounding cities around Detroit. So they count from Detroit to Romulus, which that's a long stretch. And that radius there's a number of different cities in that radius. So all of that taken account to the murder rate of Detroit, which that's why I say like it's a total bias. So you can't necessarily use that. So that whole dig as a native Detroiter, and somebody that from Detroit. I live in a suburb of Detroit at the moment, but for someone that grew up in Detroit my entire life and was from the city, born and bred, went to school there from elementary, middle school, high school, college, even that I felt that was kind of disrespectful. I'm like, all right, you just it's just one more dig at the city of Detroit. Somebody wants to dig, whatever. But plot didn't move. Things just happened. The pacing of this movie was so slow. That's what frustrated me the most was the fact that it just didn't go. It was moving at a snail's pace. And then at the end of the day, it still didn't go nowhere. And I'm like, geez, just move the plot. I'm not gonna give this movie too much time because this movie wasted 2 hours and 7 minutes of my life that I'm never getting back. I don't like the movie. I'm not really particular. It's not a recommendation for me. If I was to grade this movie, I'm definitely giving it a C minus. The only reason why I wouldn't give it a D is the fact that um, they do give some explanation to why Deacon is the way he is and why. And it wasn't the stuff they were saying. So they were saying like, oh well, he had a heart attack, and had his wife divorced him, and this is all why he was on the job. No, that's not what messed him up. What messed him up was the fact that his dumb partner, uh, Deacon, was trying to find the killer. Thought the killer was still there. His partners follow behind him, talking super loud. He tells them to shush. He hears a rustle in the bush. The innocent girl comes around and he comes around, pulls the trigger. And before he could realize it was her, he put a bullet in her chest, killing her instantly. That's why he was messed up, because he killed an innocent he killed the victim because she was alive. I mean, she was injured, but she was still alive, and he killed her. So that was the problem that he had, not the fact that she was, not the fact that she was, that he got a divorce and heart attack and all that. All that stuff was a result of his guilt. So yeah, this movie's trash. I don't care nothing for this movie. So with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up here for this review. If you guys like what you've seen here, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you when I see you. Peace.